Welcome in on this Reaction Monday in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau, go! With the home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau Insurance all across the great state of Mississippi. Your hometown heroes, that's your local Farm Bureau Insurance agents. I'm Matt. Beeve is here. You are here. So we got the whole gang. We can get into whatever you want to get into. Whatever you want to get into is cool with me. Back from Fayetteville this weekend. I had a good trip there and back. Of course, State won the game. Much needed win. Figured out a way to get it done. I was just telling Beaver, I think Arkansas, they're actually pretty talented in some spots, but they might have been the least disciplined football team I've watched in a long time. Just like emotionally, mentally, they're ragtag. Physically, they're pretty good. But I was really proud of State. Just kind of like, you get ahead, you get behind. They just keep playing football. They didn't get pulled into a lot of the, it's like Arkansas was bound and determined to start a fight, and they didn't get pulled into it. And because of that, State gave itself a chance, and then you make a couple of plays, right? So yeah, it was good to see. Kamario Taylor looked good in action for State. He's the co-freshman of the week in the SEC and all that. So you got that. Another one bites the dust. This time it's Coach Freeze at Auburn. He gone. Man, he's okay, right? He played golf the rest of his life on the buyout money, which is probably what he wants to do. I think he showed while he was coaching, that's really what he wanted to do. But probably won't be the only one before it's all said and done. So you got that. Okay, you got that. Let's see. What else? Ole Miss wins another game. All right. What else? No, like this is not good radio. I'm just saying, the point is there is plenty of roads we can go down together, and I'm fine with just about any of it. Y'all just let me know. Get on in here. And so if you're just tuning in, there is always a chance that there's somebody who's just tuning in maybe for the first time. Then let me remind you, there are several ways for you to be a part of the show, and I hope you will be. In this digital age, being a part of the conversation digitally is just fine. It's the same as walking up to the table with me and Beaver and plopping down, and, we'll pour you some hot coffee in your mug from High Point Roasters in New Albany, Mississippi, and away we go. So you can comment on the live stream, and however you're watching or tuning into that live stream over there. See it? Yeah, that's you. Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter. You can just type a comment in there, post it, and then I see it. It all pops up in one nice, neat column in one of these many, many screens that are in the studio. And I can pop it up on the screen where everybody else can see it. So we'll get your comments there coming up. JS290 and Sven and Chris and everybody. You can text me on the Country Pleasin' text line. That stands for Country Pleasin' Sausage. The best anywhere, anyhow. The number to text is 885-3776. 601 number, 885-3776. Text that number. It comes in on the Country Pleasin' text line, and we can chat it up that way. Or you can call me. That way we all get to hear your voice. Would be great. Good old-fashioned talking with each other. Like the good old days when people talk to each other. On the Junction phone line, Junction Delis across the state of Mississippi, fueled by Prince Oil Company. You can pull up to the pump there, fuel in your gas tank, go inside, fuel in your belly from the Junction Deli. Number to call is 897-1059. That's a 601 number, 897-1059. Bama fan texted the show. He said there's going to be more firings. He says there's big drama in Baton Rouge, which there is. A Bama fan, you talk about a virtual tire fire, a barn fire. Look what's going on in LSU, in Baton Rouge, in the state of Louisiana. You talk about pitiful. The interim AD in there holding a press conference like he's some dignitary with two like board members sitting there and never said a word. And he's pounding on the table and it's like, what in the world is wrong with y'all? Just back up a little bit. It's sports. Hire a coach. Shut up. It's really simple. But what are they doing? I don't know what they're doing. Nobody knows. They don't know. And then he said one monkey is down. Had a mom protecting kids, and she got the monkey. She killed him. Did she shoot him? I think I saw something about that. Don't tell Annabeth. She's all about. She's saying it's not the monkey's fault they got out. Don't tell her. Earl in Madison. He texted the show. His name is Earl. Earl in Madison said, "From where I sit, Freeze has it figured out. Yeah, just score no points, get fired, sail off into the sunset with, a bunch of millions of dollars and go play golf." I think that's probably what he wants to do. So what is Auburn going to do next? Here's what I will tell you with 100% certainty. Are you ready for this? The next coach at Auburn will not be Dan Mullen. Because for, what is this, 2025? So close to a decade, but not quite a full decade. The current AD at Auburn has hated Dan Mullen with a passion. I'm talking about as soon as he left for Florida, it was like doing everything they could do to erase any sign that Mullen had been anywhere near Starkville. No love lost. So that ain't happening. It will be, even though Mullen would win there, it will be someone else. Nick texted the show and he said, "We got to witness our Dodgers win maybe the greatest Game 7 in MLB history, Matt." Yeah, I'm glad you did get to witness it. I slept right through it in a hotel room in Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Good, Matt Wyatt. I don't appreciate the fact that Nick dropped, he lumped you in as a Dodger fan.
Yeah, why would he do that?
Oh, yeah. He said, "Our Dodgers."
Yeah, I hate them.
I hate the Dodgers so much that I was actually rooting for a Canadian team.
Yeah, I mean,
because my thoughts on Canada. They don't deserve nice things like trophies and rings, but in this instance.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess how could you compliment the Dodgers backhandedly? Okay, how can we say it? I don't know. That would be too mean. It wouldn't be backhand. I'll just figure out another way to backhandedly compliment the Dodgers, and I'll disseminate that later. But, I'm just going to be honest with you, Nick. Like, I'm a big sports fan, all this kind of stuff. But if the Dodgers are playing, I'm just not watching it. I'm just going to be honest with you. It don't mean that much to me. My time's valuable. I'm not going to waste it, watching the Dodgers. I just hate them. They are everything that's wrong with sports. Okay. Oh, they win. Okay. That's not the only thing that matters. Sorry. Okay, fine. Call me the coach what's his name? That was going around talking about champions of life. Dodgers are everything that's wrong with sports. Not watching them. The whole world can watch them. I'll be the one that doesn't. I don't care. I can't stand them. Yeah, so she was from Heidelberg. She shot one of those. I mean, look, what are you going to do? They have told you, I'm told behind the scenes that all the way going back to last week, that the officials have said those monkeys do, in fact, carry disease, kill them. I'm just telling you, that's what I've heard. I mean, I hate to be ugly about it. I'm not being ugly about it. Somebody texted in and said, is there a good shot for us to upset Ole Miss? Humboldt State said, also, how do you feel like the crowd is going to be? It'd be an 11 a.m. kickoff on a Friday for the Egg Bowl. Gosh, I don't know. A lot of water's got to go under the bridge between now and then. I'm not someone who ever gets a really good feel on ticket sales and crowd sizes and stuff. I don't, because I'm not plugged into anything that would, give me any sort of indication on that. So I don't really know. But a shot, yeah, they didn't have a shot. It's like if you can whip up on Texas for 3 quarters build yourself a fourth quarter lead, then you are capable of building a lead against a team like Ole Miss. You're capable. It doesn't mean you will. But I think, Ole Miss better team. That I would also probably, without knowing the actual dollar signs, wouldn't you say that they probably have somewhere in the neighborhood of 8 to 10, maybe even 12 million more dollars invested in their roster than State does? So, I mean, if that's the case, they ought to have a better team and a better roster in this pay-for-play era. But the fact that it's in Starkville, and if you can keep Shapen healthy and keep and maybe get Albert Reese healthy and have him fully healthy for that game, because there will be an open date before it also. And I just think, sure, they're, State's capable. And then it's just a matter of do you or don't you? Stacy texted and said, really glad to hear Mullen will not be the next coach on the Plains. To be honest, I wish Cohen would go back where he came from, War Eagle anyway. Then he says, on another note, with several, quote, better jobs open, it feels like we'll hire another coach that can't get it done. What say you, Matt? No, look, Stacy, I think the right thing to do is to approach these open slots and these coaching hires totally differently than they have in the past. I know it's the right thing to do. The question is, do the administrations have the strength and the backbone to do with the right thing? See, you, even though we're in a different era, Stacy, you still have, a lot of administrators. Okay. And it's not just ADs. You're talking about presidents and other people too. And they're supported in their decisions and helped in their decisions by big donors. That there's this idea of you have to win the press conference to a degree, that wins over the fan base, and that you got to do all that kind of, before you ever play a game, you got to do all this momentum, box checking, or else then when you do lose a couple of games with a new coach, the AD's like, well, my head's on the chopping block too. They'll fire me. Well, guess what? Welcome to the world of sports. Okay. Stop, cowering at the idea that it might not work out, and do the right thing. And the right thing is this, Stacy. Your schools and your programs now need those millions of dollars in resources for other things other than paying a coach. You certainly don't need to tie it up in all these multi-year contracts with these supposed big name coaches whose agent's going to, in the negotiation, in order for you to hire them, is also going to demand these massive buyouts in a quick trigger environment that we're in. And that's proven to be true. It just doesn't make any sense to do it. So what you got to do is make a good football X's and O's hire. To heck with if they've been the head coach at some big school somewhere before. To heck with it. Because what you're going to do is you're going to convince this new coach, whoever he is, that not only, okay, we're not paying you $10 million a year. It might be 4 or 5. But there's $2 to $3 million a year that's going to go directly into the salary of your GM, whose sole responsibility is, like a pro team, to handle building a roster and managing a roster. That's his sole job from a talent perspective. So that guy's going to take every dime you have in pay for play money and go all over the country with all of his contacts and do the best job he can do in the portal, and hire players away from other teams, and get the very few you want out of high school, pay them what they want to get them there. That's the name of the game. To heck with, we went and hired so-and-so who has been a head coach before at the Power 5, and we just gave him a 10-year contract at, $8-9 million a year. And by the way, he's got a $50 million buyout. That's dumb. That's the dumbest thing you can do in this environment when hiring a coach. That goes for Auburn. It goes for Arkansas and Florida and everybody else. That's the dumbest thing you can do. And the athletic administrators with backbone, okay, and any sort of broad enough shoulders to handle somebody saying something negative about them on Twitter, okay, are going to take that approach. We'll do the right thing for the program and for the team. And in fact, we're going to spin it as a positive, because this way, my football coach, all he's got to do is coach football. You ain't got to worry about recruiting. We're going to pay another guy to do that. We're going to focus on the GM deal. And I'm not going out here and letting Jimmy Sexton talk me into believing that these, washed up has-beens who are out there wanting to get back into coaching and will win me a press conference. Who cares about that anymore? So we'll see. I'm telling you, that kind of what mattered in hiring a coach 10 years ago doesn't matter now. And if you have an athletics director at any school who's being honest and has a stiff enough backbone to act on it, because they know it, then you'll see some things go very differently than what you expect. On the other hand, if you have administrators and people who are involved in the hiring who simply can't handle negative feedback from the social media mob, they just simply can't handle it. They cannot sleep at night knowing there's a message board somewhere with a negative comment with their name on it. If you have an administrator who thinks that way, guess what? The search and the hire will look like it would have looked 10 years ago, and it'll work out about like the last one did. Unnamed texter says, speaking of Auburn, watching Camario scramble for that touchdown, he looked like Cam Newton running the ball. Let me tell you, man, that kid, Newton was 260 pounds, ran a 4.4. Camario is not that heavy, but for a guy his size, if you ever go stand next to Camario Taylor, street clothes, person to person, you'll be shocked at just how big a guy he is. Tall and long, big, got a lot of room to grow physically. Okay. But he has a really quick burst for a guy that size. Showed it on that run. Unnamed texter said, you feel about the Dodgers the same way I feel about the Chefs, meaning the Chiefs. I understand. We all have opinions. They're worth about the same thing. Mine and yours. Jake from Yazoo says, Beeves, when half the team is from Japan and the team is based in California, it's okay to root for Canada. That's a good point. Let's see. He also said, good call Saturday, Matt. Well, thanks, Jake. I get a front row seat listening to Neil Price call these games on the radio, and get to interject a little bit. And boy, he had a good one. And I've got some of those highlights for you, radio highlights. I'll bring them to you next. I don't think I have time for it right now. But some of the highlights from the game on the radio from Neil Price and his radio call coming up in just a bit. Let's see. Jason in Flagstaff, Arizona says, ugh, I forgot y'all, quote, fell back and got stuck listening to Chuck Oliver earlier. Wait, Jason, you didn't set the clock for daylight savings? You mean you didn't change it? Do you not have daylight savings and we do? How'd that happen? Thank goodness my phone does it automatically, or I probably would have forgotten. He says, also, so glad that I don't have to hear, quote, he can't go 0-16 derp anymore. Robbie texted the show. He's an Auburn fan. Okay. He renamed Reaction Monday last week to something that he felt was more appropriate for he and his War Eagle friends. He's done it again today. Robbie says, Matt, it's not Reaction Monday. It's Thank You Monday. All right. Hey, let me do this too. First of all, apologies to JS290 and to Sven, who were in on the comments on the live stream like a long time ago when the show started, and I'm just now getting over there. My bad. JS290 commented and said, Hogs would be contenders if they were better coached and more disciplined. They have some really good players, JS290, but their interim coach is undisciplined, and their team is undisciplined. And JS290, you are exactly right. Listen to this statement. All I got to do is pull up the game. I've gone back and watched it. I can prove it. It's really easy to show. Their people were throwing fits about penalties and officiating. They did have 18 penalties called against them in the game. They deserved 16 of them. In my opinion, there were 2 that they probably shouldn't have called. Well, one was like, I think the second roughing the passer, where I don't think the Arkansas guy had anything else he could do. The other one was a pass interference in the end zone. I don't think the ball was catchable. They went ahead and called those 2, but the other ones were absolutely the right call. They called it. A lot of stuff they're throwing a fit about, including the coach. He's over there throwing a fit about something the officials got right. But anyway, and Arkansas got ahead, JS290, by 2 scores and lost their minds, trying to start fights. They tried to start one with Isaac Smith just because he had hit the quarterback on a legal play. He was just trying to get up off the ground, and here they go pushing and shoving. They had guys yanking guys' helmets off in the end zone because they were getting blocked. They lost their minds. Some of the most undisciplined, stupid football, non-football moves in some cases that you'll ever see. And they just did it over and over. Like pile driving a guy after a big tackle for loss, give us a free first down, 15 yards. That wasn't the officials' fault. That's Arkansas's fault. All right. Just getting started. Reaction Monday, or Thank You Monday, whichever you want. Back after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. Local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. It's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille, it's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple. Bun size, 3 links, bun size. Look at that right there. Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage. We'll be right back after this message from C Spire. My name is Matt Wyatt. I host the Matt Wyatt radio show out of my home using C Spire fiber.
And when we hit the road as a family, Matt's show goes with us, thanks to C Spire Wireless.
Its ultra-reliable nationwide network lets me broadcast live from anywhere.
And never miss a moment that matters. connecting you to what inspires you most on C Spire's blazing fast 5G network. And right now, get your choice of free phone. That's customer inspired. That's C Spire.
Y'all like coffee?
I know you do.
Check it out. Little High Point Roasters from New Albany, Mississippi. That is the breakfast blend. It's a whole bean. And if you notice, that's how much I've had already. Brazil Oberon. Not Ogeron or Orgeron, you LSU. No, Brazil Oberon. That ain't all. We got that. What flavor is that? Papua New Guinea grade AA. Bring it on. High Point Roasters, New Albany, Mississippi.
Losing again. You're going to hear about them all and get to talk about it with Matt Wyatt right here, right now on the Zone 105.9 and worldwide at the Zone1059.com.
Back with you on this Monday. Staying connected because of C Spire, the #1 network in Mississippi. C Spire, customer inspired. Sven commented on YouTube. He said, Hail State, everyone. 14 points, we won. He said, make it make sense. We're up 17 against Texas and lose. Up 7 against a mediocre Tennessee team and lose. Kick a field goal at the end of Florida, win. Down two TDs, win on the road. Yeah, I guess what it is Arkansas is just not as good as those other teams, right? They are not as good as Texas or Tennessee or Florida. They do a lot of really good things. And I'm telling you now, they have some players. Like their defensive front has some fire breathers, and that quarterback is, I think, like really talented. And 2 really good running backs, big tight ends that can play. You know, they stuck in some backup offensive linemen this week against State. And, you know, for the better part of the game, it seemed like one of the better offensive lines you've gone up against, you know, talent-wise. And they had some depth too. But gosh, they do dumb stuff. And it's almost like as the game went on, you could just have confidence that they were going to do more dumb stuff. Anyway, and they did. All right, hit the horn, Matt. Over to the Junction phone. Junction Delis across the state of Mississippi, fueled by Prince Oil Company. Junction Delis, convenience redefined. Little fuel in your belly at the Junction Deli. On the Junction phone line, line 1, it's Brando. Brando, happy Monday. What's up?
All aboard.
All aboard. Well, how are you doing?
Hey, Matt. I'm great, buddy. I'm blessed. I don't know if I'm starting anything, but Beeve just told me. I sang to Beeve when he answered the phone, and he said that I have a much better voice than More Bully.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't know. I've never heard More Bully sing other than the rap lyrics as he introduces himself.
Well, when Beeve answered the phone, I said, "Viva Las Vegas."
That's pretty good.
Hey, Matt, can I do my Chuck Oliver impersonation real quick?
You have the floor, sir.
All right. So I just got through interviewing you, right?
Yes.
Yes. All right, Matt White. You can find him on 105.9 The Zone.
Is that what he called to do? Is what Brando called to do? It's pretty good impression, though, I think, based on what I've heard in the past. Based on what I've heard. Who was it that texted me and said, good call of the game? Jake. All right, Jake from Yazoo. This is for you. Harkening back to Saturday's win in Fayetteville, here is on the radio call from Learfield, Neil Price. He is Hail State voice, the voice of the Bulldogs. Some highlights of State's win on the radio over Arkansas.
Shaping out of the gun, takes the snap, throws to Booth, has to make one man miss, gets the corner at the 5, and he'll score. Touchdown, Devon Booth. Green drops, he's hit, and he's sacked. Back inside the 35 at the 34-yard line. It's Nick Mitchell from Mississippi State. Taylor takes a shotgun snap, Loads, throws down the middle. Evans makes the grab at the 5, down to the 3, to the 2, and into the end zone. Touchdown, Anthony Evans. Taylor fakes a handoff. He's going to run inside the 15. Taylor to the 10, to the 5, and into the end zone. Wow. Touchdown, Kamario Taylor.
Are you kidding me? What a play.
Chapin takes a shotgun snap, hands to Booth, straight ahead, and he dives in. 4-6. Game on the line here for State, potentially. 3 receiver pattern, 2 of them left. Chapin throws up the left sideline looking for Thompson, who makes a sliding grab at the Arkansas 35-yard line. Wow. Are you kidding me? Chapin takes a snap, a 4-man rush, throws right side. Evans makes the grab, breaks a tackle. Down the sideline, 10, 5, spins out of a tackle. Touchdown, 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 Anthony Evans. What a run after the catch. Green in the gun, takes a shotgun snap, 4-man rush. He's hit, he's sacked. Back at the 30-yard line. Woo! State gets home with only 4.
Silla.
Malik Silla gets to him and drops him back near the 22-yard line, and Arkansas has to use a timeout. 4th and 13 for Arkansas from its 22. Green drops under duress. Back inside the 3, rolling right. Hit, throws, it is incomplete. No one in the area. It should be a grounding penalty. The flag is down, and State's defense has stopped them.
Ball game.
Snap, takes the knee. The clock starts. Bobby Petrino won't stop it. And a 16-game SEC losing streak comes to an end here in Fayetteville. State gets a huge road win. The first conference triumph in the Jeff Levy area as the Bulldogs leave Fayetteville with a 38-35 come from behind victory.
And those are the calls of those highlights from Neil Price and Learfield Saturday night's ball game. Bayou Bengal Babe says, Shane Beamer at the LSU game a few weeks ago was big mad. I'll tell you what, flat out lose it sometimes. What, and they just fired their offensive coordinator, Mike Shula. Right now, South Carolina's offense at the bottom of the SEC. So they made a coaching change there. ResDog texted the show, and he said, Matt, sounds like a good game. Too bad I couldn't watch it because I have YouTube TV. Yeah. Yep. Couldn't watch it. You could listen, ResDog. I mean, you could have listened on the radio. Why didn't you just listen on the radio? James from Amory. What's up, James? He texted in. He said, with this win against Arkansas, these last 3 games now feel super important. No one looks unbeatable. There's a world where we could possibly win 2 of the last 3. What's your thoughts on that happening? Well, I mean, you know, State will be not supposed to win any of them. You know, everybody you have left in the schedule are big teams with big budgets, spending in some cases twice as much on their roster as you are. That's the literal truth. You have established programs and established coaches over many years. So State's just not where they are. Okay. But you get 2 of these last 3 at home. That can account. And State has shown the ability to go in there against teams that, you know, are better than them from a roster standpoint and scare them to death a few times and then in a couple of cases beat them. So, I mean, there's a chance, but it's not one of those where you can look at it and go, oh, well, for sure this one and for sure that one. And the Missouri trip, look, Missouri's a really good physical football team. They are. I've gotten to watch them once this year. I watched about 2 quarters of their game against Alabama, and that was the thing that jumped out at me is they could go toe-to-toe with Alabama. So they're all 3 are going to be a big challenge. There's no doubt. Unnamed texter says Mississippi State is a good QB away from being a 1-loss top 5 team. Bless. Where's I mean, come on. Where's Jason in Flagstaff when we need him? Oh, Lord have mercy. You know, all things considered, Chapin has played really, really, really well this year for the most part. And I know that there's been a mistake or two here or there, but, you know, he's doing a really good job. Here are the numbers. Well, you know, the number. Here's some numbers, okay? All right. Now, and I would tell you this, okay, as you hear these numbers to this point through 9 games for Blake Chapin, consider what he's playing behind throughout this season as compared to other quarterbacks in the SEC. And I'll look up the sack numbers, and you and I both know that's going to tell a certain part of the story here. So considering that, the sack numbers and the pressures and the hits and all that. Let's see. Blake Chapin is 6th in the SEC in passing average a game. 6th in the SEC in passing average a game. So what is he? Let's see. So he's at 238 a game, ahead of Pavia, Nussmeier, some of those guys. That's just one stat. Total offense, he's in the top 10 in total offense this year. These are just stats. And, you know, stats are stats, whatever. About pass efficiency. So this is going to be completion percentage and touchdown to interception and all that kind of stuff. He's 7th in the SEC in efficiency. Yards passing, okay. He is sitting there right now at 2,148 yards passing. Puts him right there with Ty Simpson of Alabama. A little ahead of, I'm looking here, Manning, more than Pavia, more than Chambliss, more than Nussmeier, more than Mateer, more than the kid at A&M, of course, and about 100 yards less on the year than the kid at Tennessee. What I'm telling you is, Blake, he just won a ball game for you the other night. Shut up about having to have a good quarterback to win.
This is Jake Mangle, former Mississippi State Bulldog. On the field, I've got to be ready for anything. And off the field, I've still got to be ready for anything.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
The Junction Deli's Convenience Redefined and Prince Oil Company, a match made in heaven. The Junction Deli, fueled by Prince Oil Company. Prince Oil Company has been fueling Central Mississippi since 1960. It's a pretty good little while. Wonderful people. Man, am I ever more tickled that they're a part of the show and I'm a part of their team now. As you know, if you listen to the radio show, I've been to the Junction in several different places around the state. I've bought gas just like you at a lot of places that are fueled by Prince Oil Company, and they are really wonderful people. By the way, that brand spanking new Junction Deli, Chevron, right across the highway from Germantown High School. It's in Canton. We say Gluckstadt. Do you realize they and other Junction Delis, they serve country-pleasing sausage over there on the buffet? They don't get much better than that. The Junction and Prince Oil Company. That's what I'm talking about. We'll be right back after this message from C Spire. My name is Matt Wyatt. I host the Matt Wyatt radio show out of my home using C Spire fiber.
And when we hit the road as a family, Matt's show goes with us, thanks to C Spire Wireless.
Its ultra-reliable nationwide network lets me broadcast live from anywhere.
And never miss a moment that matters.
Connecting you to what inspires you most on C Spire's blazing fast 5G network. And right now, get your choice of free phone. That's customer inspired. That's C Spire.
Welcome to my photography studio downtown Tupelo. Everybody needs a headshot, especially if you're in the professional world. in sales, any sort of customer related business, outreach business, anything like that, everybody needs a headshot. Here at my photography studio in Tupelo, we do a lot more than just headshots, but we're kind of focusing on headshots for that very reason, because everybody needs it. Let me show you a little something about it. One thing I'm able to do here is sort of have 2 to 3 different looks in a small space that we can do in a short amount of time. Several different looks and styles of lighting with studio equipment, studio lighting. Some with flash and a particular look that I've worked on, a constant lighting scenario where you sit down, the lights are already on, you lean in, and we kind of illuminate the whole face. And we get several options in the studio in a short amount of time. Here's 2 priorities for me when I shoot headshots. One is it has to look like you. Okay, none of this fake stuff. The other goal is it's got to look like you at your best. And that's my job as a photographer. And I've got a lot of experience over the years, and I feel really confident I can do that for you. I would love to schedule a session for you here at the studio in downtown Tupelo. I'm above the Reed's Gift Shop, just off of Troy Street, the corner of Troy and Spring. If you can't get to Tupelo, that's okay. Let's talk about it, because we can pack the studio up and come to you if the schedules fit and that sort of thing. I'd love to help you with your headshots. I think everybody needs them. I'm inviting you to please email me, reach out. You can go to my website, mattwyattmedia.com, email address matt@mattwyattmedia.com, and let's talk about your headshot. Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi, local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have
Back with you. I'm Matt in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau, go with the home team. They are your home team. Let's see here. So we're talking about the quarterbacks. A couple of notes. One touchdown passing, one rushing for Camario Taylor the other day. And not only did Chapin give Camario his game ball after the ball game, which was pretty cool, but Camario was rewarded with, he's co-freshman of the week in the SEC. So there you go. But regarding what you're up against, so Blake he's in the top 10 in every, major passing category in the SEC this year amongst other SEC QBs. And he's middle of the pack. He's usually hovering somewhere around 4, 5, 6, depending on what stat we're looking at, whether it's yards, efficiency, touchdown, interception, completion percentage, all that kind of stuff. And he's done that while constantly getting hit, just constantly getting hit. State is near, they're not at the bottom, they are near the bottom of the SEC in sacks allowed. Now, think about the perspective on this. State has given up 29 sacks this year. That is 14th out of 16 teams. Only South Carolina and Auburn have given up more sacks this year than Mississippi State has. Only Auburn and South Carolina have given up more sacks than State has. South Carolina, 34 sacks in 9 games. They're the worst offense in the SEC. Can't offense their way out of a wet paper sack, and just fired Mike Shula yesterday. Auburn, dead last in the SEC, has given up 37 sacks in 9 games, an average of 4 per game. And everybody wonders why they can't throw the ball down the field. Auburn throws more short passes than anybody in the country. You wonder why. You can't protect at all with what you're doing. But then there's State. That's the only 2 teams that are going to have more sacks this year than State has. And State offensively, both to the naked eye and in terms of numbers, in any statistical metric you want to look at, State offensively is light years ahead of South Carolina and Auburn, particularly in SEC play. Yet they're right down there with them. 2 spots out of the bottom of the league, giving up 29 sacks this year. So in spite of getting hit constantly, Shapen is a tough cookie, man. He just pops back up and makes throw after throw after throw after throw. You know, he's blindsided out there the other night in the fourth quarter that led to that field goal. You know, fortunately, this time, unlike against Tennessee, where he's blindsided and never saw it coming in the second and a half from the left tackle whiffing, this time, at least the left tackle jumps on the football and recovers it for you. It's stuff like that. And he just pops up and makes throw after throw after throw after throw after throw and go one. He just went one game for you. 2 fourth down conversions on the game-winning drive. One's a back shoulder up the field to Thompson. Great catch. And then, you know, the out routes, good timing, good throw. You get it there quick enough, and it allows Evans to make a move. DB thinks he's turning in, took an inside angle, spin out. You got the first down. Now you got the touchdown. And again, in spite of getting sacked at a rate, only 2 teams have gotten sacked more than you this year in the SEC. Yet State's one of 2 teams that have multiple receivers in the top 10 in the SEC this year. It's only them in Tennessee. Tennessee's only allowed 13 sacks all year long in 9 games. What I'm telling you is the pressure that a guy like Joey Aguilar at Tennessee has seen this year is not even comparable to what Blake Shapen is seeing this year at State. And yet we will have people come and say, need a quarterback. Who are you going to get? Because here's what I'm telling you. I don't know. I'm not much of an internet fanboy anymore. I continue to remove more and more from social media outside of sharing some of my photography stuff. So I don't really know what everybody is saying, but here's what I'm telling you. The truth is, I don't care what they're saying on the internet. There's a bunch of Southeastern Conference teams right now, this very second, that would absolutely trade their guy for Blake Shapen and wouldn't even think about it. A bunch of them. By the way, too, real quick, I scrolled up to sacks by, meaning what, defenses have done this year. So really proud of State. They went from last year. It's just, I feel bad even talking about last year's defense, but they're middle of the pack this year in sacks defensively. State through 9 games has 18 sacks on the year. That's right at 2 sacks a ball game. More than they've got more sacks than South Carolina, LSU, Arkansas, Florida, Alabama, and Georgia. Now, this is incredible to me. And I thought, is this a typo? But this is the SEC stats, and they put them out this morning. Listen to this. Georgia is dead last in the SEC in sacks. They have 8 defensive sacks in 8 games. Can you believe that? Georgia is the only team right now in the SEC with single-digit sacks of opposing quarterbacks. The only one. I can't believe I'm saying this, but through 9 weeks of the season, or really 10, I guess, everybody's had one open day, Georgia is in the kind of position from a sacks standpoint that State's defense was in at this time last year. So far behind everybody else. Everybody else has almost twice as many sacks as Georgia. What is that all about? That's weird, isn't it? Georgia is averaging 1 sack a game, 8 sacks in 8 games. That's something else. I wonder what it means. I know this means I'm going to the Junction phone line. Junction Delis, fueled by Prince Oil Company. We got Jason in Flagstaff, Arizona, on line 1. What's up, Jason?
Nothing much. You hear me all right?
Yep.
Yeah, I've got a cold and really didn't feel like calling in today, but so I'm going to do this. All the people that have been complaining about Shapen and even going back to Will Rogers, when quarterback is the very least of the issues and it's observable, this is what they sound like to me. He's the best tackler I've seen since Joe Montana.
It's about right. It's about right. Unfortunately, it's about right, Jason.
So, anyway, I'll get off here and listen.
Okay.
I wanted to make that clear that these people sound really dumb.
Thanks.
Y'all have a good one.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Appreciate the phone call. Yeah, let's see. So Shapen went 1, 2, 3, 4. He went, yeah, he finished the game 8 for his last 11 with that last touchdown included there, which that was actually the last pass that he threw. So he got on a heater at the end of the fourth quarter when you kind of had to do it. And the offense as a whole, Arkansas was very undisciplined, had some personal foul stuff. And, like they get a tackle for loss, and the defensive guy for Arkansas wouldn't slow up and just kept driving Booth down the field, and then gave him flipped him. What do you call that? Pile drive. And it's a penalty 100 out of 100 times, and they throw the flag, and the Arkansas fans were like, boo! Like, what are you booing? But anyway, stuff like that give you a free first down. And State went on 3 consecutive scoring drives to finish the game. Touchdown, field goal, touchdown. And one of those was 10 plays, 69 yards, the game-winning drive. And here's what's crazy about it too, is there's State's second half possessions. The only 2 times they didn't score on their second half possessions was the one when Blake was out and they got turned over on downs, and Camario threw the ball and they kind of got the routes crossed up over there on that 4th down play. And then the 1 play interception where Blake comes in, throws a slant, and he hit Evans in the face with it, and he tipped it. He just didn't catch it. He tipped it. That's the only 2 times that State didn't score. Outside of those 2, their second half possessions were 4 plays, 75 yards, touchdown. 4 plays, 45 yards, touchdown. 9 plays, 75 yards, touchdown. 8 plays, 43 yards, field goal. Game-winning drive, 10 plays, 69 yards, touchdown. And that's talk about complimentary stuff, but that's in a game where Arkansas was running the ball. Like State's defense couldn't stop them running the ball. The offense went and won the game for you. I just think, that, they really, really, really needed it. And it's an example too of all things being equal. If you don't play smart, you'll get beat. Arkansas didn't play smart. And for all their people who complain and stuff, I walked out of there thinking, yeah, but we can pull a tape of the game right now and watch it. It's like we saw really good, clear replays. I mean, I don't know what they're really complaining about other than just it's a bad team who feels like they're going to need some officiating help to win a game, I guess. Hour 2 coming up. Back after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Yeah.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille. It's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple bun size, 3 links bun size. Look at that right there. Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Welcome to my photography studio downtown Tupelo. Everybody needs a headshot, especially if you're in the professional world, in sales, any sort of customer related business, outreach business, anything like that. Everybody needs a headshot. Here at my photography studio in Tupelo, we do a lot more than just headshots, but we're kind of focusing on headshots for that very reason, because everybody needs it. Let me show you a little something about it. One thing I'm able to do here is sort of have 2 to 3 different looks in a small space that we can do in a short amount of time. Several different looks and styles of lighting with studio equipment, studio lighting. Some with flash and a particular look that I've worked on, a constant lighting scenario where you sit down, the lights are already on, you lean in, and we kind of illuminate the whole face. And we get several options in the studio in a short amount of time. Here's 2 priorities for me when I shoot headshots. One is it has to look like you. Okay, none of this fake stuff. The other goal is it's got to look like you at your best. And that's my job as a photographer. And I've got a lot of experience over the years, and I feel really confident I can do that for you. I would love to schedule a session for you here at the studio in downtown Tupelo. I'm above the Reed's Gift Shop, just off of Troy Street, the corner of Troy and Spring. If you can't get to Tupelo, that's okay. Let's talk about it, because we can pack the studio up and come to you if the schedules fit and that sort of thing. I'd love to help you with your headshots. I think everybody needs them. I'm inviting you to please email me, reach out. You can go to my website, mattwhyattmedia.com, email address matt@mattwhyattmedia.com, and let's talk about your headshot.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi, local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. It's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
The free Upside app and use promo code BOOST25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code BOOST25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
It's time for the Blue Health Minute, brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi, reminding you of the importance of your health. Our Blue Primary Care model is delivering smarter, better health care through a patient-centered approach. From annual wellness visits to chronic disease management, it's helping Mississippians take ownership of their health. This has been the Blue Health Minute with the Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi health and wellness expert. For more on Blue Primary Care and healthy living resources, visit bcbsms.com.
This is Jake Mangum, former Mississippi State Bulldog. I know a thing or two about the value of a strong team. Farm Bureau works hard to get me through thick and thin. They've got exceptional customer service and competitive insurance rates that keep me protected. If you aren't already on the team, it's time to join Farm Bureau. Visit favrates.com for great rates on home and auto insurance, or find a local agent at msfbins.com. Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
WRKS Pickens Jackson.
We are good to go.
With more of the Matt Wyatt Show. Coming to you direct and live. At the Zone 105.9 and worldwide.
Now, here we go.
At the Zone 105.9.com.
All righty, hour 2 on this Reaction Monday, coming at you. Here in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio, Farm Bureau Go! With the home team. They are your home team. Hey, right off the top, no hesitation. Headlines.
Good evening. I'm Ron Burgundy, and this is what's happening in your world.
Good evening, and welcome to Eyewitness News.
Here's what's making news.
Headlines on the show brought to you by the Mortgage Man Group, powered by Illuminate Bank. Find them online at mortgagemanms.com. Trust me, anything mortgage related, buying, refinancing, whatever. Here in the metro, places like Oxford and Tupelo and Starkville and all points in between. Go there, mortgagemanms.com. Headline number 1, football coach Hugh Freeze, whose 15-9 record in his 2+ years at Auburn, was just capped by a listless home loss to Kentucky. Didn't score a touchdown, was fired yesterday by John Cohen. They're going to owe him $15.8 million. Like to talk to Coach Freeze, just head on out to your nearest Robert Trent Jones golf course in the great state of Alabama. He wasn't the only one, this time an assistant coach. South Carolina went over to Oxford, and they played pretty tough on defense. Offense was once again. South Carolina has fired offensive coordinator Mike Shula 9 games into his first season over there. Man, that didn't last long. In 9 games. Boy, they didn't like it. So he's out. Mike Shula's out. There's 2 firings. And then headline number 3, congrats and a tip of the cap to Kamario Taylor, freshman quarterback, Mississippi State, straight out of Knoxville County. He is your Week 10 SEC co-freshman of the week. Threw one, ran one, and I tell you, even though in between it didn't go swimmingly, there was one drive they stopped with him in there, and kind of changes the pass game a little bit. He showed off that arm. Like he flicks his wrist, and it is a line drive at about 40 yards. Zip! And he just, he's an extra kind of runner. All right, those are your headlines brought to you by the Mortgage Man Group, powered by Illuminate Bank. Find them online at mortgagemanms.com. Patrick texted the show. He said, well, Chapin can only run when he's a design quarterback run. So the offensive line is the biggest problem. Defenses don't respect his legs at all. Said KT had 55 of 106 yards in just 3 drives. They respect KT's scramble ability, not Chapin's. He said, terrible offensive line with a pocket passing quarterback's never a good ingredient to be successful. And I'm going to tell you something, Patrick, you got a whole lot of a point there. The offensive line has just not been nearly good enough, consistently enough to really take off offensively consistently like they're capable of. But yet, 29 sacks. It's incredible. Only South Carolina and Auburn have more. And yet still State has more 40-yard plus pass plays than anybody in the country. They are hitting the home runs. Chapin's tough as nails. But to your point about Kamario Taylor running the ball, you talk about a tough, because you've got to get him involved. Like you saw that, right? And maybe that the other day is another confidence builder for him where he goes, look, I'm a first-year guy, but I can absolutely do this. And if the game can start slowing down for him even quicker, reading the coverage rotation, like they show him a zone on 4th down, they rotate it down to a man-to-man, it gets picked up, the back stays in, but it adjusts the routes, and he's throwing what looks like to me, like he's throwing what was going to be a zone route scheme, but they change when it's man. Like you think about some routes, how the receiver, if it's man to man, he runs away from his DB. If it's zone, he finds the spot to sit down. It's like I'm throwing to a spot for sit down, but the receivers are running man routes because they jumped into man, you see? So you've got to be able to do that stuff consistently on the fly if you're going to play the whole ball game. And you know, reps in games is the one thing that's kind of hard to get when you're also trying to win and you got a veteran guy who reads all that stuff really well. But he's going to get there. And I just think what I saw, Patrick, it's more of what we thought we had. And that's like the challenge for Levy and them is continuing to find ways to get him involved in where he can do that kind of stuff a little more for you because he helps you. You don't win that game without him coming off the bench and doing that the other day. I mean, go watch that rushing touchdown. I mean, he's 6'4", 6'5", 200, whatever he is, true freshman out of high school, and he's got the kind of twitch and acceleration that when he got going, he's the fastest guy. Like he's moving faster than anybody else on the field. He's different. And when it gets going, man, it's fun to watch. I want to read 2 comments right here, and then I'm coming to the phone line. First up, Jared on Facebook said, being a quarterback, I'm sure you've noticed it, but on the 3rd down play before the 4th down touchdown throw, Booth was wide open on a wheel route to the left. Yes, but you were moving to your right, Jared. If I'm thinking about the same play, you're talking about the 3rd down play where you tried to throw it up inside the 5-yard line on the deep out or corner, if you want to call it that, to Aiden Williams. There's a defender underneath and one on top. So he's throwing the ball low on purpose to, keep it out of trouble. And it was incomplete. If that's the play, because you also had an out route underneath at the 1st down stick from Evans, just like you did on the touchdown play on 4th down. But, Blake sees the guy flying up there and goes to the next level and didn't fit it in. If you go back and look, Blake's by design, they are moving the pocket, didn't want him sitting there. So they're moving the pocket. He's running to his right. He can't, if that's the 3rd down you're talking about, there's no getting back to a route on the left because you're flooding things over to the right. Does that make sense? And you may be talking about a different play, but I think if we're on the same page, that's the one I'm thinking of. And then Mr. Harmon, you're right. Nevaeh Sanders, the transfer linebacker, who's also kind of an edge rushing 3rd down specialty guy also. He can fly. And Mr. Harmon said, Sanders is fast and shot out of a cannon. Go back and watch the last play on offense for Arkansas. You had a 3-man rush and the big guy in the middle. Was it Dinkins? He actually got through first. Your nose got through first and starts flushing him. And then I think you had Scylla on the edge, who's kind of inside angle, and naturally Green, great athlete, gets around to the outside. Sanders, whether he lined up at linebacker or on the line, I don't remember, but he basically wound up, dropping off the line of scrimmage over where the ball was snapped. And when he saw him flush, you'll look at the right side of your screen. He is absolutely shot out of a cannon downhill, a perfect angle. And you talk about like closing the gap so quickly that it kind of took Green by surprise. And that's another example of, he never hit him with his helmet. He did wrap him up, arms in front. It was not horse collar, nothing like it. But going to the ground, Green's trying to throw the ball so he can't protect himself, and the back of his head hit the ground. And that's why I thought, maybe it was a concussion. And they're all hollering and screaming, wanting some kind of penalty. And it's like, for what? I would love to have asked some of those people, like, what penalty are you wanting them to throw on him? What did he do? It's not targeting. It's obviously, all you got to do is look at it. It's not horse collar. What penalty you want? Because he's playing too rough? I mean, what do you want? And then the right call was grounding. The whole thing, which really was led for the most part, the sort of wave of momentum of Arkansas people booing and complaining about officiating in that game was led by Bobby Petrino. It's basically because of him, because he's one of these old school coaches that he's going to yell and scream at the side judge and blankety blank him the whole game, whether he makes the right call or not. That's kind of what these old school coaches do. And then he's over there. He's undisciplined. The team's undisciplined. Guess what? The fan base followed suit. They turned it into this thing. Oh, the officials robbed it. I mean, you had 18 penalties and 16 of them at the very least were dead on accurate. Now, there were 2 that I said that, may have been a bad call. One was the second roughing the passer, which I didn't think the Arkansas kid had a choice but to do what he did. And then, the pass interference in the end zone at one time, the ball was not really catchable for a completion in bounds. They called the interference. And he did interfere. It's just the ball was pumped out of the back of the end zone. But other than that, all them others, like the only egregious missed calls I felt like was all the holding on run plays that Arkansas did get away with. I didn't understand, like, it's funny to me how that'll do sometimes. It'll be like an avalanche of everybody jumps on and, oh, it's officiating. Look at this. But not in that case. Not in that particular case. All right. Over to the Junction phone line. Is he calling to brag? Rooster on line 1. What's up, Rooster?
No, he's not calling to brag, but can I talk about Jeff Levy and Hugh Freeze? Am I allowed to do that?
Absolutely.
Well, clearly Mississippi State and the Bulldogs were outplayed for 3 quarters and outcoached. But boy, in the 4th quarter, did Jeff Levy ever look like a genius? Holy cow. It was a complete flip-flop. He looked like, Don Shula or Vince Lombardi resurrected. I mean, perfect game plan in the 4th quarter. And, I would have replaced Shapen. I would have put in Taylor. And we probably would have lost. Had he not stuck with the game plan, we probably would have lost that game. I mean, a fantastic coaching job in the 4th quarter. I mean, you stick with what's working and what you've done, and it's worked. I mean, man, I wouldn't have been that bold. Of course, Taylor's something else. But, hallelujah. And the biggest, come on, the penalties, the biggest one was the roughing the kicker. Man, had it not been for that call.
Yeah, I've heard some other people say that.
Still go with him.
Yeah.
But about Hugh Freeze, hallelujah. $38 million he could have had, but he's only going to get, I guess, $15 million. He walked away, from the $22 million, whatever it was, at Ole Miss.
Oh, okay.
He resigned. He wasn't fired.
Okay.
He walked away from that Mars clause. He didn't contest it.
Okay.
So sometimes the truth will lie, but it takes a while. We hope now that Hugh Freeze will confess his sins to the world, and particularly the Ole Miss fan base. They deserve better, and Auburn deserves better. And, hey, things work out for the best. But what a fantastic game that was. I wasn't there. I watched it home away from home, Buffalo Wild Wings and Flowood. So I'll definitely be at the next 3, though. I'm telling you.
Right.
Very encouraged. We've got a shot at, the bowl season, obviously, just one more win.
Yeah, got
Hoping
a shot.
that comes at Columbia, Missouri. I'm not so crazy about Tippah County and the other Bulldogs. But we've got 2 shots for sure, 2 out of 3.
Okay.
I'm going to shut up. Hope I didn't brag too much.
No, you're good.
My record is perfect.
All right. See, I knew you'd get it in. I knew you'd get it in there. Thanks for the call, Rooster. Did we lose him? Anyway. So he thought, the game absolutely did turn on a dime. But State, again, outside of, it's weird how, that one interception, which was, it's a good throw. It's going to be a catch about 19 times out of 20. He just happened to take his eyes off of it and tip it instead of catching it. And other than that, you had the 4th down where they stop you on 4th down after a little drive into their territory. But other than that, State scored on every other possession it had in the second half, 3rd and 4th quarters. And it's like there was a time in that first half where the physical difference on the line of scrimmage was so much in favor of Arkansas in that first half There were times in that first half where Arkansas's offensive line, I couldn't believe kind of how they were treating State's defensive front, and that was with multiple linemen out. Like they had two that didn't start, and then another one got hurt on the first drive of the game. They plug in some more big guys, and here they go, just running it right down State's throat. State spent a lot of time in a three-man front, and it made you wonder, right? You started trying to, like, is that what it is? So they were much more physical in their offensive line. And in the first half, they completely shut down State's run game and were very, very much more physical on defensive front than State's offensive line. What was the number? Here it is. In the first half, State had 12 rushing yards. And if I'm not mistaken, those 12 positive rushing yards in the first half were Blake Shapen, if I'm not mistaken. I'm talking about Arkansas's defensive front completely shut State's run game down, and they were on both lines of scrimmage so much more physical than State in that first half. And to come out in the second half, Arkansas continued to score some themselves. They did build that 2-score lead, but two things happened at the same time. One, Arkansas got ahead by 2 scores when they went up 28-14 in the third quarter, and they lost their mind. They began celebrating the victory and pushing and taunting and like trying their best to, I don't know what it was going. It was weird. It was the most undisciplined junk. After going up 28-14, State just hung in there and just kept on scoring and kept on scoring and kept on scoring and kept on scoring. And it was almost like the constant barrage of scoring drives offensively, especially in the fourth quarter, demoralized Arkansas. It's kind of like that's what happened. And they certainly had a chance to win it, a couple of times, and State just made plays. But to flip the physical advantage that Arkansas had in the first half and sort of nullify that in the second half, it was pretty incredible how they did that. I don't really know how. Where are we? Sven says on YouTube, Camario gets his playtime, and most important thing for Levy, State's got to get to a bowl game, get the extra practices in December, and that would help a lot. But earlier he had said, he's not ready yet to play a full game, and we should be happy with Shapen. That's Sven over in Germany. Hunter says, Matt, would you say Blake is a master at running Levy's offense? To me, he seems cerebral and he knows where to go. Those coaches will tell you, we're talking about games now, not practice. 95% of the time, it's the right read and the ball's going to the right guy. Whether or not it's completed, okay, whatever. But you call something because you're expecting something, you get something, and the ball goes where it's supposed to. He's operating at a really high level from a decision-making standpoint. And it's been tough on him at times because he's getting hit so much. Again, back to the sacks numbers. My name is Gert on YouTube said, how does State keep getting night games away but can't buy a 6:45 kick at home? Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know. But it's, and I know you've played some night games on the road, but here's the deal. It is totally a television decision and a perception thing. You don't have some advocate in the conference office lobbying with the TV people to give you your fair share of night games anymore. You see what I'm saying? Like that, don't look at it that way because that's not happening. Because the television partner and the SEC decided they were just going to wholesale marry themselves to one TV partner. And that TV partner gave them so much money. And the TV partner, it is totally a perception decision. So, Gert, you're going to have to earn it. If you're State, you're going to have to earn night games by winning more, having players who really, become kind of stars that are household names across the conference, and then they'll put you on at night. It's strictly a perception thing. Right now, they don't feel like that you're gonna drive enough eyeballs for you to have a night game at home, and it is totally a television decision. It is not a conference decision. So, you just live with it. Got to play. Got to earn it. Go win games. That's the way it is. All right, let me get caught up on the country pleasing text line. Somebody else had asked about that too, the night game thing. MSU 1980 said, Matt, I was amused at how many times the Arkansas fans booed at penalties against them where it was obviously a good call by the officials. Maybe they were booing at Petrino for the lack of discipline. They weren't. I'm just telling you, it was not a huge crowd. It was a good crowd, but it just wasn't a huge crowd or sellout or anything. And I'm just telling you, the fan base and the team sort of was following Bobby Petrino's lead and just blatantly throwing like a toddler, an undisciplined little hissy fit every time there was a call, whether they made the right call or not. And the fan base fell in behind him, and he led that deal. And then after the game, he sits up there and says, go watch the tape. Yeah, we all saw it the first time. We can watch it again. There's a couple of questionable, but you had 18 penalties, and about 16 of those were dead on accurate. The only thing they should have done, if you go back and watch the tape, Coach Petrino, is there was a lot of holding in the run game they didn't call for you. So it was just, it's a bad team, an undisciplined team, and that's the kind of stuff that happens with bad teams. Back after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back. Yeah. After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille. It's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple. Bun size, 3 links bun size. Look at that right there. Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Welcome to my photography studio downtown Tupelo. Everybody needs a headshot, especially if you're in the professional world, in sales, any sort of customer related business, outreach business, anything like that. Everybody needs a headshot. Here at my photography studio in Tupelo, we do a lot more than just headshots, but we're kind of focusing on headshots for that very reason, because everybody needs it. Let me show you a little something about it. One thing I'm able to do here is sort of have 2 to 3 different looks in a small space that we can do in a short amount of time. Several different looks and styles of lighting with studio equipment, studio lighting. Some with flash, and a particular look that I've worked on, a constant lighting scenario where you sit down, the lights are already on, you lean in, and we kind of illuminate the whole face. And we get several options in the studio in a short amount of time. Here's 2 priorities for me when I shoot headshots. One is it has to look like you. Okay, none of this fake stuff. The other goal is it's got to look like you at your best. And that's my job as a photographer. And I've got a lot of experience over the years, and I feel really confident I can do that for you. I would love to schedule a session for you here at the studio in downtown Tupelo. I'm above the Reed's Gift Shop, just off of Troy Street, the corner of Troy and Spring. If you can't get to Tupelo, that's okay. Let's talk about it, because we can pack the studio up and come to you if the schedules fit and that sort of thing. I'd love to help you with your headshots. I think everybody needs them. I'm inviting you to please email me, reach out. You can go to my website, mattwyattmedia.com, email address matt@mattwyattmedia.com, and let's talk about your headshot.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi, local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You
And we're live at thezone1059.com.
Back with you. JS290, we're talking about the sack numbers, how Georgia is dead last in the conference right now in sacks. They have only 8 sacks in 8 games, and it's by far the least. It's crazy. And they do a good job of protecting their own quarterback. They've not been a team that's sacking opposing quarterbacks that much, for whatever that means or is worth. And I haven't watched Georgia play a lot, and I'll start to watch a little bit this week, maybe on YouTube. But JS290's been watching state play all year. 29 sacks in 9 games. It's they are 14th out of 16 teams get most sacks, and he's telling somebody more than likely Georgia's going to double their sack totals this week. Now, I can confidently say, JS290, if Georgia has 8 sacks in this game, state loses big, okay? But if that trend continues now, if you keep shaping up and there's some time to deliver the football. They played some really good active fronts at home. Tennessee, Texas, and they've gotten off the field some, been hit some, but they've also put their drives together some. So, I don't know. It's weird. Look, the truth about it is, everything we look at, Georgia's a better team, recent national championships, all that kind of stuff. You look at the program building. If you really wanted to just go bare bones, we could do that and parse it out by, what do you think Georgia is spending on their roster? Okay. Is it twice as much the amount of millions of dollars that state has invested in its roster? It probably is, like twice as much. Okay. This is a real challenge. And Georgia's quarterback is super underrated. You talk about he always keeps plays alive. He's super steady. He makes good decisions. He doesn't have freak out plays, takes care of the football, seems to be really good in the red zone. Coach's son. All right. Back over to the phones, the Junction phone line, Junction delis, all across the state of Mississippi. Fueled by Prince Oil Company. You pull up to the pump, fuel in your gas tank for Prince Oil. Go inside, fuel in your belly from the Junction Deli. Number to call, 897-1059. On line 1, Mad Tiger. Good afternoon, Mad Tiger. How are you?
Doing good. How about you?
Doing great. Thanks for calling. What's up?
Look, Jackson State has a freshman quarterback that they're playing. The starter got hurt in the Grambling game. They were down 13. They started the second string quarterback and couldn't get anything going, and they put the freshman in. And he brought them back, and they took the lead. But the defense couldn't hold them, and they got a field goal. But State's quarterback and him are so similar that it's ridiculous.
Really?
The freshman, yeah. I mean, he's a true freshman. They started in one game, the Tuskegee game, after they played Southern.
Okay.
And he started the whole game and did real well.
Is that Lockhart? Is that who you're talking about, Lockhart?
Lockhart, yes. Yeah. He's a baller.
Okay.
But him and the freshman at Mississippi State are so similar that it's crazy.
I'm looking him up now. So, 6'5", 187 for Lockhart. He's from Charlotte. So
and can really run. He got his knee banged up. He was highly recruited. And got his knee banged up in high school. Had to have surgery and everything. And the big schools backed off of him. And Jackson was able to sign him.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking.
He's a baller, man.
I'm looking here on his bio on Jackson State site. It's recruited by Boston College, Marshall, Syracuse, UConn, Akron. Took visits to Clemson and Miami, James Madison, Syracuse, Wake Forest, and goes to Jackson State. And so he led them to this win, this blowout of Florida A&M FAMU.
Yeah, he started the whole game.
Okay.
And I don't know what his stats were or anything, but Jackson had close to 300 yards rushing. They had two running backs with over 100, and he had 40, if I'm not mistaken, and a couple other backs had 40 or more. I mean, one other running back had maybe 30-something yards, but they run three running backs on a regular basis. They just alternate them in and out. And they helped him out a lot by being able to run the way they did, but he can throw the ball.
Okay. Yeah, two 100-yard rushers. Yeah, they had 392 yards rushing in the game.
Right.
Yeah, they ran it down their throat.
They ran it down their throat.
31 second half points. So how about that? It was kind of slow for both teams in the first half, and then the doors.
In the first half, it was.
Yeah.
It was. We got to quit making mental mistakes. We gotta. We've been doing it all year. Last year was pretty good, but that flag will hurt or dry, man.
It sure will.
That flag will hurt you and help the other team.
It sure will. So the Grambling deal was a part of that. Was quarterback going down in the middle of the game?
He went down early. It was like either the end of the first quarter or the beginning of the second quarter. They put the second string quarterback in, and we got a touchdown call back for holding, of course. So we ended up with a field goal, and couldn't really get the offense going after that. And I guess right before the fourth quarter, they installed him, and they were down 13. He led them down twice and took the lead with about 2 minutes left in the game, and defense let Grambling drive the ball down the field, kick a field goal to win it.
So 14. So in that Grambling game, 14 points in the fourth quarter, and the freshman led both drives.
Led both drives.
Yeah. So I'm looking 7. So in that game, 7 carries. Yeah, 7 carries, 44 yards, and a rushing touchdown. And then he threw for 96 and another touchdown at the end of that game. And so it could be one of those things too, and then you see he comes out this week and it's a little slow in the first half, but that may just be the way it is. Again, when you have a freshman who's really talented, the game reps are just different than practice, and it takes a little while to build that experience up,
Right. And the competition was different. But that Tuskegee game, which they're Division 2, if I'm not mistaken, but he played the whole game, had a great game.
30 to nothing.
The competition, like I say, is totally different between. Well, I ain't gonna say totally different, but it's different than Florida and them.
Sure it is. So let's see. And so 2 losses on the year, 6-2 right now. They're still in first place in the SWAC in the East. And you got Valley, Bethune, and Alcorn to finish it up this month. So,
right.
I mean, they got a great chance to be 9-2.
They do. They do.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Well,
just wanted to shout out, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you bringing that up. I'm glad to learn about it. Yeah, you know, these freshmen that are tall and can run, and when they flick their wrist and it looks good when they throw it, like they get us excited. Our state fans are excited about Kamario Taylor for sure.
Well, we're definitely excited about him.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
And just hope that we can hang on to him.
Yeah.
But I think we will.
Yeah.
We have pretty good NIL. Well, we have one of the best in FCS. But when the big boys come calling, you know, they go.
Yeah, that's right. Well, good deal. Hey, and Mad Tiger, it's good to hear your voice. I appreciate you calling.
All right, man.
Yep. Call me anytime. 6'5", 200, run, throw. Get excited. You know. And then you have to be careful too sometimes, right? I know at state, I can't really speak for other schools, but I know at state, like historically, the most popular guy on the whole campus is the backup quarterback. Historically. Sometimes for good reason and sometimes maybe not. Jason in Flagstaff texted the show. He said, any chance we see a Chris Leak, Tim Tebow type deal going forward with Shapen and Taylor? I like them both. Well, you know, Jason, a little bit of it already because from the word go, from the first ball game on, there's been a 4th down, you know, 3rd and short, 4th and short, short yardage and goal line package stuff that is not just a gimmick, not just an every now, like it's a regular part of game plan stuff every week with Kamario Taylor running short yardage and goal line stuff. And a big part of that being that he's a big guy who can really run. Give him one more to defend. And so, yeah, I mean, the answer to your question is yes, you could see it going forward. And you've already seen it a little bit. All right. Man, time flies on a Monday. On a reaction Monday after a win in football season. Time flies. Okay, a little bit of time left together when we come back. In the Bureau, I'm Matt. Beeves here. Got the whole gang. Stick around.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey, y'all, Matt Wyatt here. Each week on the Mississippi Outdoors podcast, we talk with the people who live it. Hunters, biologists, game wardens, local celebrities, and storytellers that know Mississippi better than anyone.
Those bass come up there and attack them. You know how mean bass can be there.
You're never going to believe this. Matt Wyatt just talked about your deer on the radio. I said, what did he say? He said, it was Photoshopped. And I said, what?
They don't know anything about hunting. They just have never had that right, that freedom.
Dude, that's us, man. That's what we do. So tune in, be inspired, and we'll see you outdoors.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Yeah.
Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. Local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. It's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille, it's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple. Bun size, 3 links bun size. Look at that right there. Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage. The Junction Delis, convenience redefined, and Prince Oil Company, a match made in heaven. The Junction Deli, fueled by Prince Oil Company. Prince Oil Company has been fueling Central Mississippi since 1960s, pretty good little while. Wonderful people. Man, am I ever more tickled that they're a part of the show and I'm a part of their team now. As you know, if you listen to the radio show, I've been to the Junction in several different places around the state. I've bought gas just like you at a lot of places that are fueled by Prince Oil Company, and they are really wonderful people. By the way, that brand new All right, back with you. I'm Matt. Brian texts the show. He says if the offensive line can give Blake some time to throw, you can almost guarantee that either Evans or Thompson are going to get open. I mean, those guys can really get open. Let me say something about Anthony Evans too. We gave him on a radio broadcast with Neil the player of the game, and I think rightfully so. He was your leading receiver with 111 yards on 5 catches, 111, 2 touchdowns, including the game winner. By far the most yards after catch on the team also. He also had the most targets. He had 2 100-yard receivers in the game. Thompson also had 6 catches for 107, but he had 1 fewer target than Evans. Anyway, Evans, 5 catches, 111, 2 TDs, game winner. And here's the thing too, like it's a lesson in a lot of things, and as sports, as in life, but he's also the one who let that pass. It was a really good throw on the first down play when Chapin came back in the game. He's the one that let it go right through his hands, tips it right to the defensive back behind him. One of those interceptions is on the receiver and not the quarterback. When you're trailing late in a game and it feels like it's a huge, huge deal. And replay shows that, he's hearing the footsteps, as they say. There's a safety inside. He knows it. And even after he tipped it, the first thing he does is turns his head and looks at the safety where the contact is coming from. And so that's a big reason he's the concentration has been broken on catching a ball, and it's more on the contact that's coming. And that's really embarrassing stuff for any receiver. They'll tell you that. To
to have something pop up that shows that you were a little more worried about the contact than you were catching the ball. And in that scenario, that can be tough to take. It can be tough to bounce back from. Just like any other player make a mistake that really hurts your team, tough to bounce back from. And I tell you, man, instead of going the other way, he played some of his best football of the entire year after that moment. That was a third quarter moment. And look at what he did in the fourth quarter. I mean, he had that one catch over I believe it was on the field goal drive, where he's run the vertical up there in the middle of the two safeties. He's got a defender trailing underneath. You know, it's one of those, it looks like a really hard throw, but you do it a lot. And with the safety split field level, you're just putting it in between them, giving your receiver a chance, knowing contact's coming not with one safety, but really two, and catches it, holds on, big play down the field. He had another big catch later. You know, he had the touchdown play where he makes the move, runs through another tackle, runs through one at the goal line. And it just was one of those where you can find those examples if you look closely enough at, you know, throughout the year at different teams. But, you know, it's just one of those, a cool thing that happens in sports where there's somebody who proves that you're not really branded as something in your worst moment. You know, you took your eyes off the ball. You were more worried about getting hit by the safety. You should have caught it. It was a perfect throw. You tipped it to them. They get an interception in the third quarter and they're already up. And now they're 1st and 10 on your side of the field. But it proves that, look, man, if your heart's still beating and the air is still flowing through those lungs, it's not over. You're not branded in that worst moment of the day so far. And buddy, he played some of his best football of the entire year after that moment. It's a great example, you know, not only for him, but for teammates and young players looking at it, but for me and you too. Just keep on fighting. Don't let your mistakes sort of throw your focus off of what you've trained to do and what you know to do, and just keep at it and keep doing your job, and some good things are going to happen. And it did for him. And I thought he was a really good example of that in that ball game. Be fun to see how he plays and what opportunities he might have this week against his former team. Humphreys County Dog, he texted the show. He said, late to the show, what was the reason behind State's rushing troubles on Saturday? Arkansas sold out to stop the run, and they did just that. Yeah. What was behind it? I still have yet to go back and do a film study and really slow it down and watch everything, but it kind of looked to me during the game Saturday that, you know, there was sort of an effort to put a lot of people in and around the box and say, hey, we like our matchups. State was without Albert Reese. And knowing that then, okay, well, it's a smart veteran coaching move on Petrino's part because, you know, okay, look, if they are without a veteran cog at one tackle, you know, it puts a transfer at one tackle, a freshman at the other. And so from a help standpoint, there will be more schemes and more things called from their part to help their tackles, meaning your guards and your centers are singled up a little more often. There's less guard and center combo up to a linebacker, and there's more guard and tackle help, and we'll single up the center and the guard a little more often. So it's a little different for everybody. You take that one tackle out, and they took advantage of it because I think they liked some of their individual matchups. So the biggest thing that was happening was you were getting beat one-on-one way more often in the run game than you have been getting beat one-on-one. They ran to the football really well, tackled well, and that focus on the run game. Well, State, as a part of their normal offense, is committed to continue to try to feed the run when you give them certain down and distance, certain parts of the field, and you line up a certain way defensively. Well, because what that produces is if you stick, even though they're stopping you sometimes with the run, you're sticking with it. You're still not abandoning run call stuff in certain normal down and distance situation within the game. That's what brings defenses into the box more, safeties in more one-on-one opportunities on the outside. And that's what gives you those 40-yard throws that you keep hitting. That's really the goal ultimately anyway. Does that make sense? I mean, the goal is not to chunk it down the field enough to force them to back off so you can run it. It's the opposite. It's to run it enough so that they have to keep coming down here and eventually we throw it over their head. So I think that's part of it also. Makes sense? It's like, it's kind of who you are in your design is we're never going to walk out onto the field for a series with the idea that we can't run the ball against you. No, we're going to prove that we will try to run the ball against you because you're trying to produce those one-on-ones on the outside and throw it down the field because of who you have at receiver. And because your quarterback can pump it down there. It's one of the things he does best. So you stick with it. Meanwhile, you're helping on the edge a little more. You're singled up on the inside a little more, and you're getting whipped. There's too many one-on-one whippings happening. So there it is. You know, play for play and call for call can be a little different here or there. Who's doing the whipping? But that's kind of the in general. And you go, well, how does it change? Well, it could be, I don't know. It could be several things. It could be a good chewing. It could be guys, just coming out of the locker room, playing better in the second half. And I know this. State had its troubles in pass pro at times throughout the ball game too, because up front they're just getting bullied at times. I mean, but there were only 2 sacks. There were a bunch of tackles for loss, and some of those were in the run game. There were only 2 sacks of Arkansas's defensive front the whole game, and in particular, down the stretch in the fourth quarter, I thought State played its best football from a pass protection standpoint there. I know you had the one where they collapsed everything and sacked you on what led to the field goal. But again, you go look at it outside of that fourth quarter, State was its best in pass pro, kind of down the stretch. And after getting beat one-on-one that time, Jimothy Lewis over there at left tackle, the young kid, when he got beat, Shapen gets hit in the back of the head, fumbles, just like the Tennessee game, Jimothy falls on the ball, recovers it. From that moment on, I don't know that he got beat off the edge. And you go back and look at game-winning drive, 4th down here, 4th down there. He's solo, one-on-one with their pass rusher, and he got back there and stayed in front of him. So they played better. They play a whole lot better with Georgia coming to town. All right. That'll wrap it up for today. For Beaver, I'm Matt. All of us here on the show in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau Insurance, go with the home team. We will see you tomorrow, same time, same place. See you then. See you.